The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, is saying that he's actually proud to have the largest Somali community in the country, and his police chief.
Well, then he's a fool. I wouldn't be proud to have the largest Somalian. Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, it just happened. They have destroyed Minnesota, that beautiful land, that beautiful state. It's a hellhole right now. And the Somalians should be out of here. And all they do is complain, complain, complain. You have her. She's always talking about the Constitution provides me with... Go back to your own country and figure out your Constitution.
I live in Minnesota, and I just want to correct some misinformation that Trump has put out about us. I am not afraid to leave my house because of Somali gangs. That's not a thing.
Somali-Americans who grew up in this country like me know the challenges. But we have never seen something like this before. A president who is questioning our identity. But I just want to make it very clear. Somali-Americans are part of this fabric, part of this community, and we're not going anywhere.
I want to say yes to dignity for all. Yes to loving our neighbors. Yes to safe communities that work for everybody. Because here's the thing. If they can do this to the Somali community, they can do this to anyone.
Americans, white, black, and brown, Americans of all faith traditions, and Americans of no faith traditions are here together and across Minnesota, and we are rejecting this hate and division.
Well, this is hilarious and this is saddening. Trump recently called the Somali migrants garbage, and well, this is Trump's exact form of nature. Well, and he said that he doesn't want them in the US.
I live in Minneapolis. I've had Somali doctors, nurses, servers, Uber drivers. There are students here. I've shopped next to Somali families at the Mall of America. There's an indoor soccer place near me where Somalis frequently play while their partners and their kids sit at tables and do homework, or read a book, or look at TikTok. There are about 60,000 Somalis in the state of Minnesota out of 6 million people, and about 500 of them are under temporary protected status. The rest are legalized residents or naturalized citizens. There are not roaming gangs of Somalis on the streets. There's not a Somali takeover, and 80% of crime here is not caused by Somalis. Shame on Tom Emmer for telling such a dangerous lie, and shame on President Trump for using the alleged actions of a small number of people to demonize an entire group of my fellow Minnesotans.
I absolutely love the way Somalis are mocking the U.S. and their racism. Also, they're mocking Zionism by saying that Minnesota was promised them 3,000 years ago. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Also, the conservatives would probably take this seriously. And I think they already did. I'm pretty sure I saw a post the other day that I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on. And it said that the Somalis are invading Minnesota. And I'm like, what? I just skipped past it because I skip past things that are ridiculous, right? But now I get it. Now I get it. Like, they're posting videos saying things like that, or talking about how they were promised Minnesota. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Yeah, I guess fight fire with fire. Like, try and prove just how ridiculous Zionism sounds from an outside perspective. And I guess it's 12 o'clock.
And you know why Minnesota is one of the places that actually outside of East Africa, they have the largest Somali population, is because Minnesota was like a perfect state, frankly, because of the infrastructure, the social services. The Lutherans and Catholic Charities were actually very instrumental in ensuring that refugees came to a place where they would be successful. And Minnesota was that place. The president obviously doesn't understand that the Somali immigrants in Minnesota, the people who came through the program, they came through a legal U.S. admissions refugee program. And so when he is talking in a very just racist is the only way to describe it, racist and dehumanizing way about an entire demographic of people, he is talking about teachers, healthcare workers, people's friends, families, and neighbors, members of Congress. Right. The derogatory way in which he continues to speak about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar should prompt every single member of the United States Congress, Democrat or Republican, to stand up and say, I just can't get with the racism. That's the very least they could do, regardless if you think you agree with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar or not. What he is doing is racist and it's dangerous. He is putting a target on the back of these folks, and he is using the full weight of the federal government to do so.
Hey, so correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think this went so well, but give me your opinion. This is what the Somalis said in Minnesota before the election.
We love our brothers and sisters who are Democrats, but you left us. And because the left left us, join the right, vote for Trump, 2024.
Now, before you say not all Somalis in Minnesota felt this way, and they voted in the opposite direction. Now, I say to that, you may be correct. However, I didn't see a counter narrative. I didn't see a counter protest. I didn't see a counter press conference that said, these people are fools. So when you leave information unchallenged, what will happen is some of the people who are in that community will believe that the people who were on this side, on the Donald Trump side, were right. And the result is
Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country.
They're saying Minnesota was promised to us 2,000 years ago, that we have a right to exist because 2,000 years ago, that land belongs to us. They're saying, I'm Somali Chai. That's what they're saying.
Most people don't realize the community the world doubted went on to rebuild an entire state, and now they're being targeted. My name is Noreen, and this is Real Africa Stories. If you think you already know the story of Somalis in Minnesota, stay with me, because there's a chapter that many people miss. They came with nothing, and within one generation became one of the most successful African diasporas in the United States. But right now, that success is being tested. Somalis began arriving in Minnesota in the 1990s, many fleeing civil war and unimaginable loss. They stepped into freezing winters and a place where there was almost no black Muslim presence. Many people assumed they wouldn't stay. Instead, they built. They created support networks through their mosques. Women organized mutual aid for new arrivals. Halal shops and cafes became lifelines. Neglected neighborhoods grew vibrant again. Entrepreneurs revived local marketplaces, launched transport and logistics services, and built businesses that now contribute billions to the economy. And they pushed further into public service. School boards, city councils, state leadership, even Congress. Representation that didn't exist 20 years ago became a voice for thousands. But here's the other side. According to recent US media reports, federal immigration enforcement plans include operations in Minnesota that may affect some Somali immigrants with unresolved status. And in a community where many families are mixed status, citizens, green card holders, visa holders, and refugees, fear spreads quickly. Parents worry about school pickups. People who have worked and contributed for decades look over their shoulders, and success suddenly feels fragile. But if this community has shown us anything, it's this. They don't just survive change, they shape it. They've rebuilt before, they've stood together before, and they're not about to stop now. So here's my question for you. Do you think the Somali community in Minnesota could inspire new ways for African diasporas to protect their progress, no matter what challenges arrive at their door? Share your thoughts below. This is the Africa You're Not Shown, but I'm here to show you.
There's a lot of discourse right now amongst, Somalis, being that Trump is now openly basically saying he don't mess with him, right? Not gonna lie, amongst everyone Trump has come against, Somalis might be the last one to go, bro. If he does start getting rid of them, it is gonna take a long time, bro. People talk about Minnesota Somalis and that, they're kind of the topic of conversation whenever Somalis get brought up. But Columbus, Ohio, man, if you're from here, Somalis are everywhere, bro. They are everywhere. They are not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I remember when I was 5 years old, my mom had sent me and my brother to a school that was basically all Somali. And when I mean all Somali, I mean like the only non-Somali kids in that school were me, my brother, and like 2 white kids that were in his grade. Everybody else was Muslim, Somali. Mind you, I was 5 years old, okay? This is like 16 years ago. Now, all the teachers were white women, and the principal was like an Arab woman. Not sure of her exact ethnicity, but she was clearly an Arab woman. And I think that was the start of my interest in like other cultures and understanding different kinds of people, because my brother would get into like religion debates in like the 3rd grade. And you can imagine how bad the talking points were, being that they were 3rd graders trying to debate religion. Just all talking points that they probably just heard their parents say. And I don't think I realized how unique that experience was until I got older. Now, no clue why my mom put us in that school. We only went there for like a year, and we went to a white school the next year.
I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country.
We understand why we're being attacked. We believe it's actually because of our success. Somali-Americans have been in the United States now for more than 30 years. The fact that this attack is happening to this community and continues to happen, we believe is because of the fact that we fill the 3 trifecta. We are a black immigrant, and we know that President Trump continues to attack black people, whether they're descendants of slaves here in the United States or African immigrants. We see the majority of the countries that have been banned are African. Also, the fact of immigrants, and of course being a Muslim. And I think those trifectas continue to make it easy to scapegoat. We know that there are foreign entities that want, including Israel, as well as the Hindu extremists in this country, who want to reverse the course of what is actually taking place in this country, which is, for the first time, Republicans waking up to these wars, to these never-ending wars, and the carnage of what happened in Gaza. There's an effort to try to demonize Muslims. This has always been the case. If you demonize Muslims, then you can get away with killing Muslims abroad. This has always been the case, from the Afghanistan war to the Iraq war.
A lot of people haven't been leaving their home for work or making a living. So it's very unfortunate and very sad.
I feel like it's sad to see everyone inside. Right now, this is very empty for this area, especially this place, to be this quiet, nobody walking around, I think is insane.
Sarah, we went to Carmel Mall. That's really the heart of the Somali community here in Minneapolis. It is normally bustling. There are people everywhere as these shop owners, try to make a living here in America, and it was virtually empty. Most of the people that we spoke with were people who work there, and that was pretty jarring for the people who know that that is normally a very vibrant place. The city says that they are doing everything they can to try to protect citizens.
You know what? Asian Gate kept me entertained, has had me entertained for the past week or so. But after Asian Gate, my current Roman Empire is Somali people claiming Minnesota. Because it's giving Uno reverse card. Like, yeah, this place was promised to us. That's the playbook, isn't it? I love it so much.
Hey folks, it's State Senator Doran Clark here in snowy Minneapolis, Minnesota. I represent Northeast Minneapolis, the University of Minnesota, and Cedar Riverside. This week, the president said Somali people are garbage. And I take that personally. as well, Cedar Riverside is home to many friends. It's home to people who love Minnesota, love America, and have come here by choice or been born here and are part of Minnesota. It's a reminder, we don't do that. We don't say that, and you need to condemn the president when he says things like that. It's not okay. But I've been so proud how our neighbors have stepped up and said, we're going to help these folks. We're going to make sure that if ICE shows up, we're going to blow whistles. We're going to get trained and help folks know their rights. Down at Ola Arepa the other day, well, they had folks visit who did not have proper warrants, and they made them leave. So that's our job. Make sure folks know their rights, make sure folks know that they are welcome here, and make sure that, well, when the president says things that are just wrong and, well, should not be said, that we stand up and say no. So that's what I need you to do. I need you to make sure that you are sticking with our neighbors, that you are sticking with those folks who are here with us and, well, welcoming them here.
This is also a community on edge. There are roughly 80,000 Somalis living here in the area, and their leaders are warning that they're being unfairly blamed and targeted because of a fraud scandal worth more than $1 billion that have implicated more than several dozen Somalis. Minnesota is reeling from a fraud scandal involving $1 billion siphoned from multiple federal programs during the COVID pandemic. In the past 3 years, 87 people have been charged, 61 convicted, most of Somali descent. Erica MacDonald was U.S. Attorney for the District of Minnesota during the first Trump administration. What happened in Minnesota where fraud was able to run rampant that it didn't in other states?
Lack of accountability, frankly. We knew that fraud occurs, and there's warning signs that come with it, and they were ignored in this case.
According to investigators, the schemes involved bogus receipts and invoices for meal programs, housing assistance, and behavioral health services, charging the state millions of dollars for services that were never provided. This week, the president has repeatedly lashed out at Minnesota's Somali community.
We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
I think it's a beautiful country.
Jamal Osman, who moved from Somalia to Minnesota when he was 14, is a naturalized U.S. citizen and a member of the Minneapolis City Council.
Anyone who looks like me are scared right now.
The fear comes as the Somali community here is bracing for a surge of ICE agents cracking down on migrants who have been issued final deportation orders. The president is pointing to the fraud cases in Minnesota, and we know that a majority of the suspects are of Somali descent. How is your community taking that?
Well, my community is upset. Yes, people commit crimes, but the entire community should not be blamed based on what some individuals did.
Republicans on a House Oversight Committee in Washington are also announced in a news release their own investigation into the fraud and whether some of that money, stolen money, could have made its way to terrorists overseas. I spoke with several federal investigators. They say there's no evidence that happened. Instead, they say, Nate, that the fraudsters pocketed the money for their own use, bought cars, trips, diamonds, and so much more.
In case you didn't know, Minnesota now belongs to the people of Somalia. It's theirs. You know, it was promised to them 3,000 years ago. This has got to be the most creative and fun way to fight Zionism, because they're not going to like that very much. And people are rolling with it. I made a video about this yesterday, and I've gotten dozens of comments from the people of Somalia. A lot of them are following me now, so welcome. And they seem to like the idea. Minnesota belongs to them. They are the chosen people of Minnesota. And you should really go into that comment section, because a lot of people are leaving memes, and it's kind of hilarious. And you know the Zionists are not going to like this, because the people of Somalia are not the right color. Zionism is about white supremacy in the end. As crazy as that sounds, Zionism has a huge link to Nazism.
The biggest percentage of these Somalis are American residents and American citizens. Well, federal authorities, ICE, have launched enforcement operations in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, arresting several Americans, and some of them are Somalis. Trump referred to the behavior of Somalis in Minneapolis as gangs and very uncontrollable people who are doing a lot of crimes down there. But, well, Minneapolis white and black citizens say otherwise about the Somalis in Minneapolis.
One mother was telling me, her teenage son is autistic. She's a single mom. She can't keep him at home. So she is afraid of her son, who's disabled and born in the United States, might be picked up and what would happen to him.
ICE is on the ground in Minneapolis to go after undocumented Somali immigrants. But the city's police chief says his officers won't be helping at all. Now, critics, they argue that the raids will target dangerous criminals and that police protection could really save lives. But why do you stand firm in not assisting?
Well, for one, it's against the law here in this city. Immigration authorities do not respond to domestic violence. They do not respond to shootings and robberies. And I do not have enough cops to deal with the actual crime that's happening in our community. So it's not our job. They're not going to do our job for us. The way this stuff is being carried out is making people terrified. I'm concerned that people who may need help are going to be afraid to call 911.
Minnesota Somalian arrested of fraud. There he is, pictures with Oman and Tim Waltz. So the only question that I have for the both of you is, since you're so buddy up with this criminal, did you know that he was committing fraud? The answer, yes or no. Because the last time I checked is that 2 + 2 = 4, and the American people aren't stupid, and the American people aren't dumb, and I believe most of the people up in Minnesota, where their tax-paying dollars have been hijacked, have had enough. Abdul Abraham of Somalia, not a good guy. He's been here for quite a while, doing very, very bad things that have not been in the best interest of the United States of America. Public records back in 2002 will show you that he's been convicted of giving false information. There's no record of this being married, but he claims that his sister is his wife and the children that she bared is his. But on a later date, according to documents, it shows that those were just lies. But why would he claim that his sister is his wife and those children were his? Back in 1995, he was deported from Canada. In 2004, he was here in the United States of America. Judge put in documents that he should be removed. His appeal was denied in 2006. But despite the order from the judge, Temporary Protective Services gave him status for the next following years, which brings us up to 2023. And now we're in the beautiful year of 2025, and look who this criminal is palling around with. And all of a sudden, this news breaks out that billions upon billions of dollars has been extorted out of the beautiful state of Minnesota, sent over to Somalia, into the hands of Al-Qaeda forces, the same exact terrorist group that screams death to America. Ilhan knows this. Our governor, Tim Waltz, is very, very well aware of this. So I'll ask you again one more time, Governor. Were you aware that you were palling around with a criminal, with a person that has been deported from Canada that should have never, ever been here for this whole extended time that he's been here? And did you know, possibly allegedly, that he might be involved in the most recent case of extorting money out of here, out of the United States of America?
They come from hell. They complain and they bitch. That's y'all's president. When I tell y'all respectability politics is out the fucking window, y'all, I promise you, that's why we love Jasmine Crockett down. That's why we love AOC down, because baby, they be in the trenches and they be like, we don't give a shit. We're getting ready to say what we need to say. And that right there, because, I don't want to hear, I get it. We love Mrs. Obama. We love her down. I swear we do. When she said, when they go low, we go high. Baby, no. With these folks, you got to go to hell. You have to go to hell. The earth's crust. You got to go. Because This is him talking about the Somalis in Minnesota. Now, here's the thing. He's just like, there's 88% of welfare. He doesn't know that that's not an accurate number. Because again, there's more people that look like him that are on welfare in every state than, these folks. Now, is there some type of, issues with, what's going on in Minnesota? Absolutely. We're not going to negate that. But we are also not going to sit here and, let him go, especially his weird obsession with Representative Ilhan Omar, because he has been after that lady for fucking years. I don't know what it is. I really think he just likes her. I think he thinks she's pretty, and that's just what it is. Because, of course, now he's using the situation that happened with the Afghanistan soldier that, unfortunately unalived one of the National Guard members, which was because your administration didn't properly vet. It is what it is. You can put this on Biden all you want to, but that's exactly what happened. They were the last ones that touched the situation. If it was all about Biden, then you should have been the ones to correct it. You didn't. So that's your bag you holding. Because again, that was a 2-week situation where orders from a judge were not adhered to. That lady should not have been in, where she was. And here's the thing, she could still be alive, but here we are. Now he's saying that he is going to be terminating their legal protections for Somalis in Minnesota. We don't know at this time if that is possible, because you're looking at federal going into state. Now, if there are some type of federal protections that, are married with the state protections, that he may be able to terminate those. But yeah. It's going to be real interesting. But he was just like, we don't want them here. They need to go back to their shithole country and fix it. How? How, sir? Like, Representative Omar left when she was a child. So you're blaming something that happened, during her childhood years? Because your parents left their country.
But when they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Your wife left her country on an Einstein visa, no less. But again, your parents left their country, stretched their faces, and, stretched the American dollars, and here we are with you. Y'all, the way he has ramped up his attacks on that lady it's just wild, because again, she was brought here as a child. She had no bearings of what was going on when she was a child, following the adults that were trying to lead her to safety. And the fact that she has turned this around, of course, Minneapolis Mayor Frey has stated that he was like, yes, there's issues within the community, however, you will not negate the fact that many of the Somalis here have, created businesses that have created jobs that, are absolutely, the moral fiber of this community. He was like, we're not going to do this. But y'all do understand something here. It's wild and crazy work to sit here and allow this man to throw out all of these numbers like this with no validity whatsoever. And of course, there was an eruption of applause as you saw, but that's what he said. He said all they do is bitch and complain. So I do not want to hear about, these reporters that go up against him or whatever, just to ask him a simple question, and he, berates them, belittles them, whatever the case may be. Fight back. Be like, well, you out here bitching and complaining, so what we gonna do about this shit? I mean, this is what we need to see, okay? Because it's obvious, like I said, the respect for the office is out the window, Nelly. But anyways, I don't know, y'all. What y'all think?
As a proud Somali-American and Minnesota's lawyer, I thought I would say my 2 cents of what's going on in the world right now. First things first, I'm actually so shocked that Trump is attacking us. I think Trump should be thanking us in multiple ways, and I'm going to explain. First things first, I think we are a good example of what the American dream can look like. Like, Somali-Americans And it's making me sad. It's funny. Like, I know Somali people are very funny. We're like the class clan who also happens to be valedictorian. Somalis in Minnesota are so successful. I take multiple trips a year to Minnesota and I leave so inspired. You have Somali-owned law firms, Somali-owned pharmacies, Somali-owned everything you can think of. And it's so inspiring to see that what my community could do in just 30 years. Literally, we came to this country not speaking English, not knowing anything. We're Black, Muslim, we're immigrant, and we're able to be that successful. It should be really applauded. Like, I need Trump to stand up and applaud for us because it's shocking. Literally, my friend just moved to Minnesota and she was telling me how when she gave birth, it was an all Somali staff. Her midwife was Somali. Her doctors were Somali. Her nurses were Somali. Like, that is so beautiful to see and it should be celebrated, okay? Second of all, Trump, you should be thanking my people for giving a random Midwestern state that much clout and money. Like, I don't think, other than Chicago, I think Minnesota is really popping when it comes to tourism because of Somali-Americans like me, okay? So you should be thanking us because Minnesota would have been nothing if Somalis didn't move there. Like, if we're being honest, like, we have made that state pop and we have made it beautiful for the rest of the world. So you should thank us, and if you want, you can donate Minnesota to the great country of Somalia. Like, I think it's a nice trade-off. And last but not least, I'm so happy that people are discovering how funny, witty Somali people are. We're very confident. And although Trump said what he had to say, like, I want him to know, Yani, like, it didn't even, like, bother. Like, it didn't do anything to our confidence. We've heard everything you've said before. People always make fun of Somalia, da-da-da. But I still think I'm better than everyone. Like, God has made me Somali Muhammad. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. On top of that, I'm Somali-American, broski. Like, I'm winning on both sides. But yeah, it's just nice to see that everyone's realizing Somali people are very funny, very confident. And that's never going to change. It has not changed since colonial days, baby boy. And it's not going to change because somebody right now decided to make fun of us. We're actually winning the war, so. But yeah, that's all I have to say. And to the people of Minnesota, I love you. I'll forever support you. I'll forever take my birthright trip to Minnesota. Actually, I am going to be visiting soon. It's one of my favorite places in the world. I've been going there often since high school. It's so beautiful. I love it and I'll forever love it. And I pray that God protects you and may Allah make it easier for you guys. It's very scary, subhanAllah. But yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. Back to regular schedule programming. I'm going to make a video about protein shakes now.
So the Somali are finally taking back the rightful homeland of Minnesota, and I love to see it. For everyone saying that it's wrong, that they don't belong there, have you not seen Mighty Ducks? Have you not seen Mighty Ducks 2? Those are two iconic Somali films. Gordon Bombay is the most Somali man I have ever seen. Every religious text says that the Somali people originate from Minnesota. To all the people saying that Somalis are walking around Minnesota like they own the place, they do. And I can explain that with this ancient Somali proverb. A cat in her own house has the teeth of a lion. They wouldn't be acting that way if they weren't at their own home. Here's another Somali proverb. Ducks fly together, emphasizes their sense of community and their desire to return to their rightful homeland. I'm sure many of you want to be on the right side of history. Well, the right side is the Somali side. Oh, and for all of you guys who are seeing these posts and taking them seriously and getting all bent out of shape, that's why nobody takes you seriously. Because y'all fall for, like, literally anything.
The Minnesota Somalis are not taking it lying down. After Donald Trump gave a press conference in which he said that the Somali people in Minnesota were garbage and they needed to go back to their garbage country, they took to social media. Somalis took to social media to clap back at Donald Trump. They say that they are going nowhere, and what many of them are saying is that Minnesota actually belongs to the Somalis because they say Minnesota was given to them by the Somali god 5,000 years ago, and they are going nowhere. This is a really interesting development because they're almost daring Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump obviously is he's not showing leadership at all because there are rules and orders. But the thing is, they are on social media, they are backklapping at him, and they are saying that basically they've got nowhere to go because that is their land, and they are saying, many of them, that their God gave them the land of Minnesota.
They ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year. billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country.
To tell me not only did the Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan support Wigs R Us, but the Somalians in Minneapolis, Minnesota supported Wigs R Us. And now he is saying that y'all have stolen billions from the fucking United States and from American citizens, and that the mayor of Minneapolis should be disappointed and should not be happy with having y'all in their fucking city. And now they've removed the protections for y'all so y'all can be deported. Even though we know a lot of y'all are U.S. citizens, the fact that he said he's removing protections from y'all so y'all can go ahead and see ice, baby, boom, doom, doom. When y'all gonna start listening to black folks?
Unpopular opinion, Africans don't consider themselves black. They don't. I say that as a half Nigerian, half Creole, Sicilian, and Native American person living in the United States with a father straight from Lagos. Like, speaks short about everything. Talks with the accent I grew up with. It's shit. You mean? Yeah, if you're a child of an African parent, like talking with the hands, the stuttering, yeah, that's what I grew up with. Him doesn't consider himself black at all in any way. He's African. There's a very clear divide between African and black, and that is made even more poignant when they come to this country. Because they come to this country expecting that they're going to be treated like an African, like an immigrant, or like a European. And what they find out is that them crackers out there that are racist, the members of the melaninless mayonnaise brigade that would rather see them on a rope than see them succeed, they don't see them any different than regular black folk. In fact, as we can see from the Somalians, they see them as worse. Because us, they can't get rid of. We are inherently American, whether they want to admit it or not. Because we were brought here against our will. We are American. They may not like us, they may hate our guts, but we are American. We are unlike the Latinos and the Somalians and the Cubans that they're going after because they can't get rid of us. Not like that. But Africans, if you Nigerian, if you Ghanaian, if you're from Sierra Leone, if you're from Ethiopia or South Africa and you're black, South African and you're black, South African you're white, you're good to go apparently. Kenya, yeah man. Somalia, they see you as less than us. Or maybe not less than us, but they just can't get rid of you. And they can't get rid of us, but they can get rid of you. They can make America more white by getting you the hell out of here. But I get it. People back in Africa told you that when you get here, you're gonna get treated different than black people. And what you found out, what the truth is, what that unpopular opinion is, you ain't no different than us, nigga. You a nigga to them, just like we a nigga to them. You just a nigga with an accent. When black people told you this, and black people told you ain't gonna get no extra cookie because you ain't American black, you didn't believe us. You were like, no, we're Republican. And we're gonna vote Republican because the Republican Party, they speak to us. I'm a doctor and I came from Ethiopia or Somalia. They're gonna treat me different. No, they're not. They don't care. This is about getting the criminals out. No, it's not. It's never been about getting the criminals out, ever. This has been about an ethnic cleansing to make this country more white. This has been about the anger, the absolute and unrelenting anger that came from Obama being president. This came from a 40-year fucking plan by the Republican Party after they were foiled after the civil rights movement. 60, not 40. A 60-year plan after the Republican Party was foiled by the civil rights movement. This is what this is about. You think you bringing your Africanized ass over here? You think you gonna get a different script? How's that working out for you? How's that working out for you, Minnesota? Pretty good? Doesn't seem like it. Seem like the cast of Frozen rounding y'all up like the Latinos. Like we told you they would. So listen to me very carefully. If you're an African out there, if you're half African, full African, whatever, take this from an African, right? I'm half African, half Nigerian. They don't see you as any different than us. Your little blackface ain't no different than our blackface. And they will put you in a tree just like they will put us in a tree. There is no difference. You get no extra cookie. You get no special attention. You get no special treatment. And now, you have proof.
Yo, Minnesota was promised to us Somalis 3,000 years ago. And if you disagree, you're an anti-Cushite bigot and you need help immediately. Also, if you read Genesis 12:3, it says that those who bless Somalis will be blessed, and those who try to harm them will bring harm upon themselves. I didn't say that. Genesis 12:3. Just saying.
Many in the Somali community, including citizens and legal residents, are now living in fear, carrying their documents wherever they go and avoiding public spaces. Imagine. And local leaders and local officials in Minneapolis have condemned the targeting. They have affirmed support for Somali-Americans, and they have promised that no city police will collaborate with ICE enforcement. And well, let's get into it.
Hey, I'm Ian. I'm a pastor in Minneapolis. Ooh, you can tell I'm wearing my costume today because I was just at a press event with probably 80 or 90 other clergy, Christian, Jewish rabbis, imams, all sorts of faiths from around the Twin Cities, in solidarity, kind of a press event in solidarity with our Somali neighbors, coworkers, and friends, classmates, kind of following the recent string of nonsense bullshit by the president about how Somali people are trash and they should go back where they came from, and you know, just stuff we would come to expect of Donald Trump. And so we were there to be in solidarity with them and to say, nobody's trash, you ding dong. And if you actually know anything, like at all, about Minneapolis and our immigration patterns, you would know that Somali people have been here for a long time, 20, 30 years. Most of them are citizens who have come and gone through the process the right way and have built businesses and are raising families and have brought all sorts of wonderful flavor to the Twin Cities, which we sorely needed. There's probably going to be people in the comments of this video, you can check. They're going to be saying all sorts of stuff about Somali people. And all the people who are commenting it probably don't know Somali people. They probably don't live in Minneapolis. They probably are scared of Minneapolis. They're probably going to talk about the crime here and all that kind of stuff. Bro, knock it off. Knock it off. Feet on grass. Somali people are here. They're citizens. They're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. But that's only the first thing I want to say, because I actually don't want to center Donald Trump and all the crap he talks about, I think it's actually a sideshow. I suspect it's all actually a sideshow. I think the real thing is that prices are going up. Most Americans are worse off economically. And he's panicked. And so as long as he can get us talking about the Somalis or about immigrants or about all the fear and all the crime and if we're just fighting each other, then we're not paying attention to the main thing. And I think that's the main thing right now. That's the main thing. A failure of leadership, failure of policy, and I think we have a will to do better than that. We have to have a will to do better than that and be better than that and regard each other with kindness and love and generosity and treat each other as humans. Because that's as good as humanity is, when we treat each other as humans. Okay, that's it. Bye.
This Somalian fraud scheme in Minnesota is now up to billions and billions of dollars. It reminds me of that Tom Hanks movie, I Am the Captain Now. Okay, these Somalians, they might have Algernon level IQ, some of them might be inbred, but they were able to steal billions of dollars from hungry children, the elderly, the list goes on. Now, a lot of these crybabies on the left, they want to say that these investigations into fraud are racially motivated. It is not racist to say that you don't want America to turn into Somalia. It means you have a brain. Now, the governor of Minnesota, Mr. Jazz Hands, Tim Walz, he wants to act like he knew nothing about this, but let me just tell you, I wake up every single day and say a prayer of gratitude that he is not vice president of the United States. If we look at all the fraud happening in Minnesota, imagine that applied nationwide. And where there's financial fraud, there's usually voter fraud as well. But nothing about Tim Walz in Minnesota shocks me, right? This is a guy who let his state burn to the ground during George Floyd. And then you have Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, who knelt at George Floyd's casket. Okay, I don't even kneel at my relatives' caskets when they die. And now Jacob Fry, to show his solidarity for the Somalians in his state, he is going and eating Somalian cuisine. This video went viral earlier today. Okay, every woman on earth, they know this face. This is the face you make when you decide, do I love this guy or am I going to quit? With that Somalian food, Jacob Fry was looking around trying to do anything but swallow, so now he knows how his wife feels every year on their anniversary. Now, on a more serious note, the leadership in Minnesota, Jacob Fry, Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, who in my opinion is a Somalian pirate, they were friendly. They were friendly with people who were at the center of the fraud scheme. So they can try and act like they don't know what was going on, but I'm here to tell you they should all be called in and investigated. Now, this fraud situation in Minnesota is just a microcosm and a paragon of the larger fraud happening nationally. This is what happens when you import people from third world countries without any real vetting, okay? You import people who do not respect us, don't respect our country, our norms, our customs. They are perfectly fine taking food out of the mouths of babies. I am so grateful to President Trump for stopping immigration from third world countries. Okay, we just had 2 National Guardsmen who were shot in cold blood in Washington, D.C. because of an Afghan national that Joe Biden flew here on our dime. Okay, we don't need to import criminals who don't respect us and want to destroy us. It's just common sense. Okay, it's not Republican, it's not Democrat, it is common sense. And that is my political ideology. And common sense happens to lie with the right predominantly today. All right, I love you guys. Thanks for liking and following. Drop a comment. Tell me how you feel about this fraud scheme. Tell me how you feel in general about pausing third world migration. Okay, we cannot have people coming in here who want to defraud us, scam us, cheat, lie, steal, and commit crimes on our soil. Okay, we have enough problems with our own citizens. We don't need Somalians and folks from Afghanistan coming in right now to do even worse. I love you all. I will see you on the next one. Bye.
You know, recently a lot of Somalis have been returning to their rightful homeland in Minnesota. And I've seen a lot of people propose like a 2-state solution where, you know, the Somalis, they get some parts and then the Americans, they can keep some other parts. But honestly, that's just a bunch of bullshit. I mean, it's written in the Quran, the Talmud, the Bible, that the Somalis' rightful homeland is Minnesota. I mean, literally, Genesis 12:3, it reads, Somalis should be in Minnesota. Like, why should the Americans never should have even settled there in the first place. I mean, they read the Bible. They knew that it was the Somali homeland. I mean, I don't know what was wrong with those fucking guys. Like, there needs to be one state in Minnesota, and it is a Somali state. It is a Somali state, firmly Somali state. And anyone who says anything else is an anti-Somalite, all right? Anti-Somalite, and I don't want to associate with you.
Once again, our current administration is spreading hateful
racist rhetoric against our Somali neighbors here in Minnesota. Really, he's painting an entire immigrant group with a wide brush when he's meaning to probably condemn the actions of a few. He is creating fear, he's creating hatred in a way that is so incredibly dangerous. Our Somali neighbors here in Minnesota are a huge benefit to our collective community, and we value them being here. And so I think it's really important right now that you check in on your neighbors and you don't let fear win, because this hatred message, we have seen this happen over time, where people in powerful positions have a wide brush against an entire community, and it causes so much fear in the general population that violence occurs, unnecessary violence against really innocent people, including children. In history, we can see this with Japanese internment camps. We can see this after 9/11. And Trump has consistently done this in his presidency against Latinos, Somalis. I mean, the list goes on. And he is trying to divide us with fear instead of bringing us together in hope. And let me be super clear. Anyone who breaks the law, anyone who commits fraud, I don't care what their job position is, I don't care what race they are, if you break the law, you deserve to be held accountable. And that goes at all levels. But that's also not happening. And so I think right now we really need to, again, focus on what we know is right, which is taking care of our neighbors, making sure that people feel safe and have the resources they need, and staying strong together so that we can let people know that Minnesota stays strong when we are together, and we will not be silenced by fear and hate, because it has no place here.
You mean to tell me not only did the Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan support Wigs R Us, but the Somalians in Minneapolis, Minnesota supported Wigs R Us? And now he is saying that y'all have stolen billions from the fucking United States and from American citizens, and that the mayor of Minneapolis should be disappointed and should not be happy with having y'all in their fucking city. And now they've removed the protections for y'all so y'all could be deported, even though we know a lot of y'all are U.S. citizens. The fact that he said he's removing protections from y'all so y'all can go ahead and see ice, baby, boom, doom, doom. When y'all gonna start listening to black folks? That's my fucking question, because I know y'all come to this fucking country and y'all are told that black people are the most laziest people in the fucking world. Even though y'all don't do no fucking studying, y'all have no idea who the fuck we really are. Why the fuck would y'all come to a country and listen to white folks and not listen to people who actually look like you? I'll wait. Because we told y'all, dumbasses. We told y'all. I'm telling you, I'm going to say this again. Anytime a white person tries to come between people of color, there's always an agenda. And for the Somalian people in Minneapolis, Minnesota, you about to find out that fucking agenda, okay? You are about to be the next. Come on down. It is time for you to get your ride on the ICE train. This shit has got to be studied. Like, honestly, I feel like they don't learn no fucking history when they get here. You forget you look like me. We could be twinning them. They don't like y'all either, but they damn sure will take your vote so they can deport your ass next time.
So Minnesota's been back in the news a lot lately, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys the skinny on kind of like the history of Minnesota. I lived there for 4 years. I had a lot of Somali friends. I learned a lot. So we're going to start like millions upon millions of years ago, when the first Somalis settled in downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. Right? They were right there. It's like literally just that little section right there, downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's where like the first Somalis were formed. I know they kind of talk about like the Native Americans. The Native Americans were completely all over Minnesota, all over the entire United States. But the very first recorded Somali is in downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. That is just like how it occurred. There was a bunch of them. They all just kind of popped up there. It was like a whole crazy situation. And they were fine with the Native Americans. The Native Americans thought they were cool. The Somalis thought the Native Americans were cool. It was a whole thing. It was completely fine. Somewhere I'd say around the birth of Christ, or even just a little bit earlier than the birth of Christ, I'd say, a bunch of Somalis went over, kind of, like by boat. They went over to the continent of Africa, eventually crossing until they got to modern day Somalia. which is what, modern day Somalia as it is today. And they met more Somalis there. All right. So there were Somalis also in Somalia as well. All right. So again, just to track, downtown Minneapolis, Somalis, the very first Somalis, I'd argue, and then Somalis from Somalia as well. And they intermingle, they intermix. It's a whole thing, generations upon generations. And so the Somalis, they are like, oh yeah, like eventually we have to go back to downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. Like, it's their birthright. It's their whole place, the entire state, basically. But when they decide to do that, the triangle trade starts up, right? So the triangle slave trade starts up. So they have trouble getting back all the way to the United States, and it's this whole thing. Like everyone in Somalia is having like a terrible time. It's completely awful because they can't get back to their homeland. And as you know, in a lot of like Minnesota's holy books, it states that like downtown Minneapolis was promised to them thousands upon thousands of years ago. And so when triangle trade stopped and kind of like Jim Crow laws like stopped as well, thousands upon thousands of Somalis like migrated back to their homeland. And yeah, like they've got like all types of holy sites there, the Mall of America, the Walker Art Museum, like just they are specifically Somali holy sites. And yeah, now today it's completely kind of like I wouldn't even call it like retake. It's been kind of like returned, I'd say. Downtown Minneapolis and some parts of St. Paul have now just been like returned to the Somalis, and yeah, like I don't know how to like tell you guys that like that's just kind of what I learned while I was there. And now you can't go to Minneapolis, Minnesota, or St. Paul, the greater St. Paul area, the Twin Cities as they like to call it there. That was actually a Somali who came up with the term Twin Cities. And yeah, now you can't go to Minneapolis, Minnesota without seeing one, and that's just because like they returned to where they were from, and I can't blame them. Like every time I see a Somali in the news, I just understand that like that's Minnesota right there.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.